And this is Lisa's book that she was referring to, where she included a paragraph in the book without naming the celebrity. Do you want to read this paragraph? Here is what she said in the book, which was published last year, early last year.
I passed the test years ago. A celebrity told me that if I wanted to make it in the industry, the acting industry, then I had to sleep with him. I told him, shame on you. You just messed with one of God's children, and you're in big trouble. 1 week later, his son died. I did not pray for any harm to come to him or his family. But when someone messes with one of God's children, then they become an enemy of the king.
The next person is Sharon Van Ert, and Sharon has had a career as a real estate investor, and she's also a beauty therapist, and she's also a website developer. Sharon.
I met Bill Cosby in 1976 while I was working at Concerts by the Sea, a famous jazz club located under the Redondo Beach Pier for hardcore jazz lovers. It was the place to be. Many prominent people, as well as famous musicians, frequented Concerts by the Sea, like Dizzy Gillespie, Stan Kenton, Sarah Vaughan, Ike Turner, Mongo Santa Maria, Willie Bobo, and others who played there or came to be a part of the scene and enjoy West Coast jazz. It was a small place, and we were like one big family. We always had a great time, a big party scene. For me, it was the best of times. I was young. Enjoy. I enjoyed jazz immensely, and I had a great job there. I felt very comfortable around all the entertainers and musicians. Sometimes Mr. Cosby would show up there to see his favorite jazz musicians like Willie Bobo, and he would stand next to my safe station where I served cocktails. Although he didn't drink, although he told me he didn't drink, I spoke to him now and then, and he would get a little chatty because Mr. Cosby was pragmatic, funny, and very charismatic. The waitresses wore short skirts and pretty red blouses as uniforms, and Mr. Cosby complimented me and said I had beautiful eyes and how nice my legs looked in my uniform. We were all allowed to drink a little as long as we conduct ourselves well, and we did not get inebriated. Every night was a party, and after hours we would lock the doors, and the musicians and customers would stay and talk about stories about back in the day. We all parked under the pier, and we girls had a strict policy that we would never walk to our car alone. Sometimes the waitresses would walk out together. Other times the owner's nephew or one of the musicians would accompany us to our car. One night when I was leaving work, Mr. Cosby offered to walk me to my car. I am certain I had a couple of drinks. I was feeling giddy and excited and happy. Mr. Cosby was very nice, and of course I did not suspect anything. On the way, on the walk to my car, we probably talked about jazz. my passion. When we got there, he asked me if I was all right. Meaning if I was able to drive home. He went around to the passenger side and got in, and he said that I was too drunk to drive and I should sit and compose myself. Indeed, I felt unusually dizzy. After a while, Mr. Cosby started getting fresh. He was touching me and rubbing my leg. The next thing I remember, I was waking up in my car, my head hanging down from the seat, alone. I knew I was drugged because I never threw up, and I never threw up or drank too much. I believe that he must have put something in my drink while we were closing up the place. When I got home, I realized my panties were missing, and I never found them. I believe that Mr. Cosby took them after he assaulted me. Afterwards, I contacted the owner's wife, and I told her what Bill Cosby had done. Nothing came of it. So I decided to quit my job. After 35 years, these shameful memories in secret, I was finally encouraged to come forward by all the other women who have recently told their stories about being abused and raped by Mr. Cosby.